podcast. Start.
Wait, I gotta start over.
Chick. I gotta cross it out and put it on again.
Yeah.
Restart. Classic Brazil Grand Prix recap.
Totally.
Have to restart the race.
Just like the podcast.
It's quite amazing.
Ask not what your can do for you.
Dang, now I forgot what I was going to just lay down on you right at the start.
It was probably about Brazil.
No, because we got sidetracked talking about the restart at Brazil.
Yeah, that's what
The
sidetracked
most
to.
hectic formation lap in the history of the world. But we'll get into
We'll
that.
get there. We'll get there.
My name is Max. This is the Fast Ones.
Yes.
And I'm here with my buddy Mike.
How's it going, Max?
Good.
I directed it at you this week.
Yeah, you did. You did. But welcome to all the watchers and listeners. We got a lot to talk about this week.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, because like I said, the weirdest thing happened in racing that I've ever seen. I haven't been watching long, but I imagine doesn't happen very often.
Right. And we should explain
Yeah.
that the reason we didn't have a Mexico race recap,
Oh, yeah, we missed a week.
we did miss a race week.
Uh-huh.
So we should probably, I don't know, we can talk about that a
Well,
little
you
bit too.
were, it was Mike's birthday.
It was my birthday.
It was Halloween,
It was Halloween.
and we were both sick.
And the flu was running rampant.
So it was a packed week,
It was super packed.
and we thought, let's just take as the Mexicans would say, hiatus.
A small
A
siesta. We said that at the same time. We even were prepared. This is we had a Mexican lined up.
A real
for
life Mexican.
A real life Mexican for the Mexican Grand Prix review. And that Mexican is my dad.
Yeah, and your dad, yeah. Yeah.
And
We almost got him.
he was here. He's a little bitter. I talked to him today. And he was like, make sure Max knows how mad I am.
That makes me want to bring him on the podcast. That makes you really want to interview
Like,
him.
man, I just am dying to have Carlos.
Start getting some threatening letters in the
Yeah.
mail.
You guys should have me on your show. All right, buddy.
I was very sad. I missed out on that.
Yeah.
It was just a weird week.
Yeah,
So,
it was definitely weird. And
but every once in a while, if we have to take a week off out of the 52 weeks in the year,
It
if we
happens.
only get 48
yeah,
episodes out,
I think it's okay.
yeah,
I
we'll
think
be
it's okay.
fine.
So thank you for being patient with us.
But I don't know what happened in Mexico. I don't think anything happened.
No, Daniel Ricciardo only qualified fourth
Yeah. So,
ahead of Sergio.
whatever. We need to talk about that. Before we dive into
Okay, before we get into race
Mexican
reviews,
highlights,
okay.
Brazilian highlights,
Yes.
NASCAR highlights. These are all things we're going to touch on.
Yes, we
Maybe
are.
some nerd news because I know there's some stuff, Mike, that I need to ask you about.
Some things going on.
But real quick, Mike,
Yes.
here's the game. Can you guess the Formula One driver
Oh.
based off of their Instagram bio? Ding, ding, ding,
Okay.
ding, 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 ding.
I'm ready for it.
Okay, right off the bat.
Charles.
No.
Okay. Take it.
That's a hint. He doesn't show up in this quiz.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Dang
it.
About, I would say 60 to 75% of the drivers' Instagram bios are just Formula One driver for their team. So
Okay.
they're not going to be in this quiz.
If they do just that.
Yeah.
Dang it. That was going to be really
It was going to be really easy.
Yeah.
So these are the ones that had something else that stands out. So here is this first driver. He
Okay.
says, after saying he is a Formula One driver for his team, he says, never give up. It's a hard one. It's very vague.
Alex Albon.
No.
Dang it.
I'll give you one more guess.
Never give up.
Think maybe I'll give you a hint.
Can you?
Yeah, I mean, so this slogan kind of fits into his career a bit. Took him a while to get a win,
Okay.
and now it seems like he is fighting to stay in the sport.
Perez.
Perez, never give up.
Never give up.
Okay.
He says.
This next one.
That's a good one. That would have been very hard. I never would have thought that.
Yeah, it's pretty generic.
Yeah.
That's like publicist, like, hey, Checo, your bio is never give up this year.
Just make sure that's in there.
Hey, Checo, can you think of a slogan for the year? And he's just like, never give up. Perfect.
Perfect. Put that.
Nah, but
make sure that's on every post and in your bio.
Okay, this one.
Okay.
Man on many missions.
Man on many missions.
And this one I can give you a hint if you need a little hint, but let me see if you can get a source.
Man on many missions. Valtteri Bottas.
No.
Dang it.
Do you want the hint?
Yes.
There's 3 emojis after. One is a spaceship.
Okay.
One is a little plant. And one is a peace sign. Like a little hand doing the peace sign.
Lewis.
It's Lewis.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense.
I mean, the plant, vegan, he's all about peace, but the spaceship, he's a man. He's not of this world.
Dude,
We are blessed by his otherworldly presence.
Everyone else is trying to run a Formula One race. Lewis is going to the moon.
Yeah, he is.
He's going to the moon.
Okay, this next one.
Yeah, okay.
Keep pushing the limits.
That sucks.
Yeah, there's two
This
or
one
three
is
that are generic.
very
It's never
cheesy.
give up again.
Yeah, this one's really bad.
Keep pushing the limits. Maximize your strategy. Never surrender.
Keep pushing the limits.
You're only as strong as what you think.
George Russell.
Oh no.
Dang it.
Sorry, he's not in this either.
Darn.
I'm sad.
Yeah, because I'm
Next
surprised it
week
didn't
we can
say.
guess what Charles's would be and
Yeah.
what George's would be.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think that's a good idea.
This next one, he has an emoji of a lion.
Oh, it's Max.
That's Max.
No wonder it's so cheesy. Jeez.
Okay, next one.
Another publicist.
Yeah, it is. Okay, this one, Cat Dad. That's pretty good.
It's not Hulkenberg because he has a Pomeranian.
Yep. Formula One driver for his team and then Cat Dad.
Cat Dad.
He also has 2 other accounts. And one is his name _pets. He must love it.
It's Albon.
It's Albon.
It's gotta be
Wow,
Alex
good
Albon.
job.
Yeah, I didn't know he was Cat Dad. That's hilarious.
Yeah. That's really funny. Okay. Well, we have 3 more. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. This one I left it in.
Okay.
But I drive blank F1 cars, and it's the team name. I drive blank F1 cars.
That's it.
Yeah. I left it in because it's more than just like driver for Scuderia Ferrari or whatever. It's just
I drive blank
who is-
F1 cars. It's Lance Stroll.
No, it's not. I feel like he did this on purpose to be funny.
To be funny,
I think like
Lando Norris.
no, it is Oscar Piastri.
Oh, okay, so it was.
I think it's this deadpan Australian
Yeah.
humor that I think
I-
we're learning about.
Yeah,
I drive McLaren F1 cars.
that makes
That's
sense. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Next one, striving for excellence. Another generic. Dig deep and
Does-
win the gold.
Yeah. Does anyone have the hang in there with the kitty?
No, that's Alex Albon.
Okay. Yeah. Totally. What was it again?
Striving for excellence. Find your limits.
Yeah.
Reach the mountaintop.
Ocon.
Close. Same team.
Pierre Gasly.
Yep. Okay.
Peter.
Last one. This is a bonus.
Okay.
It's kind of a little curveball. There is still a race to win.
Oh, Sebastian Vettel.
Whoa!
I know that
you
one.
Did it?
Yeah.
Good job. Yeah, he's not in anymore, but
That is
figured I'd
his
throw a little
tagline.
in. Is it?
It's his tagline for like the eco-conscious, trying to get synthetic fuels to take off and trying to be more sustainable.
Okay, cool.
So there's still a race to win.
There's still a race to win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm so glad that was in there. Gosh, it's the only one I knew.
Yeah, that was good. Honestly, who would know the rest when they're so generic?
Maximize your Max Verstappen.
Yeah. Have faith in the impossible.
Get yourself a pet lion.
Put the pedal to the floor.
Fly to space. Have some plants. Peace.
Maximize the envelope.
Oh, are you saying that I need to like get the weight perfectly for the stamps on the envelope so
Yeah.
that way when I send it, I
Yeah.
maximize my
Yeah.
potential?
When Haas finally partners with USPS as their sponsor.
We know
That'll
they
be
really
it.
won't deliver.
I wish Gunter had an Instagram because he would have had a great tagline.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it'd have been like, "Don't smash my door."
That's it. Yeah. Well, thanks for participating in this quiz.
Thank you for the quiz.
Write in. Tell us what you think George Russell's bio should be.
Yeah, this is a good
And we will
contest.
gather all the results and send them into George Russell.
and say your
All your fans.
bio is boring.
All your fans.
Yes,
Does George have fans or does he just have like fans?
I think they're yeah.
They're fans.
Yeah. I got criticized by someone recently
Yeah.
for being a George Russell hater.
From who? His mom?
They said it was another F1 fan in a conversation, and he was like, "Well, maybe because you're just such a George Russell hater."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, is that not everyone?"
also, I feel like to be a hater, this person has to be like a champion.
Oh yeah.
How do you be a hater with someone who's like just kind of a
Are we not
weirdo?
working together as a team?
Please.
Are we not?
I was gonna save that for later.
Okay, we can go
Because
right to it.
he was so on fire this weekend.
He was on fire.
He was peak George Russelling all over the track.
Oh my gosh. It's almost like he doesn't listen to our podcast or something.
Before we do,
Yes, before.
So today I saw a headline that says Haas is petitioning or something, the FIA for something, and I said, Mike, learn this for the podcast.
So go read this.
Because I don't want to.
Don't text me back. Because
So,
I know
Mike,
you'll be tempted to just tell me what
I'm
it is.
just trying to tee up your new nerd news segment.
Oh, thanks.
Nerd
Nerd
news with Mike.
Yes.
Everybody knows what he likes. He likes the news and he likes the cars. He likes to talk the tech real hard.
Nerd news. Welcome to Nerd News, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
On this week,
Yeah.
we are going to talk about Haas.
This has turned into NPR news.
Welcome to my tiny desk segment, where we discuss Haas news.
Yeah.
So, Haas launched a petition
Right.
to investigate several teams, which included Williams,
Okay.
Aston Martin, and Red Bull,
Mm-hmm.
because Haas said that the stewards did not adequately police track limits, or at least were not policing certain zones that they said were going to be singled out as track limits that your lap times would be deleted and
Okay.
therefore penalties would be issued.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This included Alex Albon, Lance Stroll, and Sergio Perez
Okay.
are the drivers that were being pinpointed. I can't remember who it was, but a fan did the math.
Really?
And the amount of track limit penalties that Sergio Perez would have had in the race, I think he exceeded track limits something like 37 times.
Probably like every lap.
It was ridiculous.
Wow.
Add 5-second time penalties for
Every time.
every time
or
after the first two.
2 or 3 warnings.
Yeah. And so crazy. Sergio Perez's result would pretty much be thrown away
Right.
if all of those track limit penalties
I
were
would try
added
and
to his
do
race
like,
time.
what, 35 times 5? Like, I don't know who can do that kind of math.
Nobody.
Nobody, but it's high.
It's 160 seconds.
And then trying to turn that into minutes,
yeah.
that's impossible.
Haas is basically saying that, look, you didn't police these. You said you were going to.
Yeah.
All these teams got away with it all weekend,
Mm-hmm.
the whole race.
Yeah.
And now what are we going to do about it? You
Yeah.
said you were going to police them.
Mm-hmm.
Our drivers kept the rules. You disqualified 2 drivers from the race for skid blocks. What
Yeah.
about track limits?
Yeah.
And so they've launched a petition, and all 3 of those teams had people summoned by the FIA. So this meeting will take place in 2 days from this recording, and we'll have to wait to see what the results are.
Interesting.
Pretty crazy.
We might be given the win.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. It's too bad Max didn't get any freaking track limits penalties.
He's too good.
He's
honestly.
he's flawless right now. It's so annoying.
It's really annoying.
I'm like, would you just slide?
Yeah.
Just once make one mistake?
No. Well, okay.
Boring.
Good recap of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are we done with nerd news?
Yeah, I mean, the only other thing that I was going to bring up that happened on 10/30s, this would have been right before Halloween.
Okay.
Formula One apparently went around to the teams and asked them if one of them would mind partnering with General Motors because they were interested in having General Motors, but not so interested in having Andretti.
Weird.
Isn't that the most like targeted, rude,
Yeah.
kind of douchey thing you've heard?
That is really weird to me. Yeah.
It seems to be like that. Michael Andretti heard about it, and he said, it's starting to feel like they have a grudge.
They specifically don't want me.
They like really don't want me
But
because
they
they're
do-
bringing
but
my
they're fine with another
Cadillac
team.
partnership going to someone else, but they don't want me to do it.
So they would still be okay with another team coming in to make it.
No, they just want to keep the 10.
Oh,
But somebody partner with GM
weird.
and take that Cadillac thing.
Weird.
And Michael Andretti's like, no,
Yeah.
that was my deal.
You can't take that.
You guys need to shut up. Go away. Find your own engine supplier. So
yeah.
super interesting, but I thought that was a bit of news that rolled down the file.
Yeah.
Everything else that's out there right now is rumors about which driver's going where and Fernando Alonso and Checo switching places, which isn't happening.
There's so many things flying around.
Right. But yeah, so anyways, that's pretty much all that Nerd News has to offer at the moment.
Great. Well, shifting gears.
That's a quick one.
Yeah. Let's downshift right into the Mexico Grand Prix recap. What are like the standout things? I think the biggest is Daniel Ricciardo.
Epic race for him.
Qualifying insanely well.
Super well.
And running a really good race.
Held his own. I think at the end of the race, he faded because of tire deg. But other than that, it was just better strategy.
Yeah, he lifted AlphaTauri up and took Haas's spot in the championship.
Yeah,
We're kind of mad, but happy.
Kind of bummed. Kevin's wreck in Mexico was super wild.
Oh, yeah, that engine just decided to explode.
It was, so you want to hear what it was?
Oh, yeah, I do.
So they were saying on TV, they're speculating like maybe he ran off the grass. Maybe that broke the suspension thing. Maybe that's why he crashed. But what ended up happening was that at least speculation in my eyes, is that the brake duct must have gotten clogged at some point by either debris, him running off the track, and the brakes overheated, which snapped the suspension.
Oh, dear.
And so when he was going through that high-speed right-hander,
you see it
just brakes and sends him left.
Yeah, he had no control over that.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Super wild. Glad Kevin's all right.
It's
a pretty violent spot to crash.
It was a pretty crazy-looking wreck.
Yeah.
And then for him to jump out real quick, and he kind of like takes shelter behind the barrier for a split second.
Is it going to burn to the ground?
Yeah. And then he sits up on it, and the whole thing was engulfed in flames.
Yeah.
So
pretty wild.
I mean, Kevin Magnussen, new Phoenix.
Yeah.
Was Roman Grosjean
Roman is at home
watching
and
that wreck real closely?
He's like, weak, Kevin. You could do so much better than that.
I came out of a real fireball. And then Checo crashing out first corner.
Yeah.
Sad to do at your home Grand Prix.
And that one's tricky. It definitely wasn't Charles's fault.
Yeah.
And it definitely wasn't Max's fault.
So, process of elimination.
It's going to be the guy on the outside corner.
Yeah.
Squeezing everybody.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this in the past. George Russell's learned it from Lewis. I don't know why Sergio hasn't figured it out yet. Just go straight. And just be like, they pushed me off.
Yeah.
And then just take the freaking lead. And then Sergio, like, I hate the freaking like driver mentality. We've talked about it over the years of this podcast.
Yep.
What does it take to be a championship driver?
Yep.
You never do anything wrong. You're always right.
Yep.
And that killer instinct of like, not only did I do everything right, but I'm freaking right.
Yeah.
And I'm so convincing that you're not going to penalize me for driving straight.
Yeah.
And I feel like these are things that Fernando Alonso does.
Yeah.
Lewis, Max, and they get away with it. They're like, no, I was avoiding an accident.
You are perfect. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in that case where Sergio turned right, it's like, sometimes I'm wondering if you're lacking the killer instinct.
Yeah. I also was Sergio Perez getting inside his own head. Like, there's a lot of pressure that has been coming down on him from rumors.
Right.
Saying that if he can't perform, Daniel's taking his spot.
Right.
He is now in Mexico at his home race.
Yeah.
There is so many people there watching him, and he gets a good launch because he's in the Red Bull. And does he just get a little bit too brave, like going around that corner?
Optimistic. Yeah.
Trying to hit that corner and then exit as the leader of the race just because he's trying to catch up with all of the things people are talking about him.
Totally. And I think there's also this element of being like, it's my home race. I'm going to go for it. And I can't blame him for that. I can't fault him for being like,
right. Yeah.
I'm going to send it deep. We're going to get the lead.
Yeah.
And I think that there is a little bit of kind of the Lewis Hamilton, George Russell conversation of, Charles, I am going to turn right. You could hit the brakes. You could back out a little so I don't squeeze you.
Yeah.
And so, it's hard to fault Charles because he's also fighting for a win. But in that situation, the expectation of give and take is just probably a little too optimistic.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So bummer for him.
But then going into the Brazil Grand Prix, you had a better showing.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you want to talk about Brazil Grand Prix now?
I think we move on.
Just shift a little bit of a gear.
Yes.
To further south.
For Sao Paulo.
Yeah.
Interlagos. Which was...
To Hamilton's home Grand Prix.
Yeah, something like that.
They love Lewis Hamilton.
It's so wild.
Yeah.
So, in contrast...
Mm-hmm.
Formula One has never really been shy or short of a Brazilian driver. There have been so many over the years. At one point, there was like 6 on the grid at the same time.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Like Brazil has usually provided an F1 driver.
It's weird we don't have one right now.
Kind of strange that we don't have one.
Yeah.
And so they have just kind of been like, well, we don't have one. So, I mean, who's winning? Lewis.
That's a weird thing for a country to do.
Yeah, I mean, technically Lewis's favorite driver was Senna. He always had Senna's helmet.
I mean, everyone's driver that they looked up to is Senna.
Right. It's
you ask everyone, they're like, Senna.
Even
Senna.
like Alain Prost, like Senna.
Yeah.
Even though no one does say it.
So it's it's just funny that they've taken Lewis into their arms.
Yeah,
and
they're
become
like
one of his own.
He basically is Senna 2.0.
Yeah.
For them. So, but yeah, Brazil.
Yeah.
This race was a sprint race weekend like America.
Yeah. And I didn't realize that going into it. And so when
you text me on Friday, you're like, oh, frick, not another one.
Well, the qualifying results were just out. And I was confused.
You're like, wait,
and I was like,
Max got pole?
It's a sprint.
Sprint weekend. Gosh.
And qualifying got cut short because a freak storm hit.
Yeah. It was in Q3.
Mm-hmm.
And with like 4 minutes to go, they just threw the red flag and said, yeah, we're done. And
part of the roof ripped off of the grandstands. Like you see clouds. It's not just a storm. It was blacked out. It was like midnight.
The first Interlagos night race.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. And Charles said on his lap while he was qualifying, the car moved around so much that he was like, I thought it was raining, but I wasn't getting wet. There was no water on my visor.
Yeah.
It was so
tricky.
windy.
That's tricky. I do now take whatever Charles says with a grain of salt in terms of like driving the car. So I can't anymore because so the real race day, Charles Leclerc crashes a car in the formation lap.
Yeah.
And I know there's like a power steering thing happened or whatever.
Yeah.
I will go out on a limb right now and say that.
I think I know where you're going with this.
What? That I could have driven that better than him in that moment. I will never be able to say that again in a Formula One race.
Like in a situation of a Formula One driver versus you.
But put me in that car for a formation lap, driving 35 miles an hour. It's like, I just have to keep it in the lines.
I just got to go straight. I've got to turn right and not spin out.
And he crashed it. And then, like I said, what was the failure? A power steering went out.
It was an electronics failure that triggered the hydraulics to fail.
Okay.
So something in the ECU fritzed.
Okay.
And the steering wheel, you could see it. It starts to shudder on him. And he's like, what?
I mean, how many IndyCar drivers are watching this being like,
right,
we don't have power steering.
No.
We just use our muscles when that happens.
We just use our brains. It's not even our muscles at that point. It's just in our brain.
Yeah.
It's an extension of it. No, but I mean, to your point, it's amazing.
Have you ever seen a wreck on the formation lap?
Yes.
Yeah.
And you want to know who it was? Multiple times.
Please don't tell me Charles.
Max.
Oh, really?
Max has had a few bouts with the wall on formation laps.
Jeez.
And he's gotten lucky every time where they have been like, he'll be driving the freaking, out to the grid or doing the formation lap, and he'll just bin it on the last turn.
Weird.
Because the tires are cold or whatever, and he'll break suspension in the front wing. But because it's formation lap.
Yeah.
Or actually, I feel like when I've seen Max do this, it's been primarily on the way to the grid. So not even the formation lap.
Yeah.
And Red Bull was able to fix the suspension and replace the wing before they did the formation lap.
Okay.
And so none the wiser.
Right.
But Max had like done substantial damage before the race had even started.
Okay.
So it's not the most unheard of thing.
Not super unheard of.
But like in the sense of like a race where like the weather conditions are weird, the tires aren't up to temperature.
Yeah.
And you go out to the grid and you're just rolling around slow, that you're like, oh, no grip. Oh, crap, wall.
Yeah.
But where Charles was, warming up tires and trying to get a little bit of temperature in them.
It's really weird.
It just seemed like it was like, yes, I hear what you're saying about bad luck, Charles.
Yeah.
But this seems like an overreaction that the car would go full 360 and into a wall.
Yeah, because
how fast are you going?
Yeah, that's the question. How fast are they going on a formation lap? I know sometimes they kind of like speed up and slow down a little bit.
Trying to warm up tires, right.
But they're not flying.
It's not
doing spin outs and into a wall fast.
Right.
Here's a question, Mike, talking about this, because I've watched a Grand Prix with a few new people, and then I was talking about it today at work with some people, and I was trying to explain the formation lap, and I said, I don't know what a formation lap is.
Yeah.
Why do we have it? So they just leave and they line back up again, then they start again.
Right.
What's the point?
So it's a good question because it is sort of strange. Not all racing does it.
Yeah.
Like in NASCAR, they have their own versions of it, I guess, because they do a rolling start.
They do a rolling start.
Yeah. So it is sort of already a parade lap.
Okay.
And a parade lap is another name for the formation lap. The formation lap is used as like a quick warm up. It's something they've been doing forever.
Okay.
And is sort of just an opportunity to make sure, quick check, make sure everything's good.
Okay, that makes sense.
Also, the teams use it as an opportunity to burn a little fuel, get the tires up to temperature.
Okay, yeah.
And lay a little rubber down on the track because it's completely green is what they call it at that point.
Okay.
They haven't had any sessions on it, at least with F1 cars, because sometimes they do the support races like the Porsche Cup and things like that.
Do. Yeah.
And so just an opportunity, quick checks, make sure everything's good, and then line up on the grid as like a final, let's get ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And the teams haven't touched the cars at that point. And it's hot track, hot race cars.
Okay.
All the lights on and off till they go.
There are some reasons to have the formation lap.
Yeah, and it gives the opportunity for the teams to clear the grid.
Okay.
So that way when the cars come back around, there's nothing out there.
That makes sense. That makes sense. That gives me something to say next time someone asks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Charles Leclerc crashes out on that formation lap. And it's just more bad luck.
Yeah.
And he even says it this time.
Yeah.
He's like,
how could I be so unlucky?
How can I be so unlucky?
Right.
Oh, my heart just is breaking for Charles Leclerc.
Really
every single race.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Carlos Sainz lost downshifting during the race as well.
I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense. It's like, that's like, oh, so you just have to go fast the whole time.
Now you're just going to
there's no reason for you to not be in first.
So you just get a foot down. Don't even use the brake.
Just go neutral.
Just like, what's your problem?
Yeah.
Just keep your foot down. Why can't I do it?
Just hold the clutch in. So the Ferrari just had a ridiculous weekend.
Alfa Romeo, both of them retired.
Oh, yeah.
So
lots of retiring.
And then Haas, unfortunately, Kevin Magnussen was out on the first lap with Alex Albon.
And I don't want to say that was Kevin Magnussen's fault.
No.
Very first of the race, Alex Albon goes off the track to try and get beyond him.
Right.
And then same thing with like Charles Leclerc and Max in Mexico. It's like now he's in between two cars.
Yeah, and he gets
squeezed.
And then
Alex comes back on the track.
Yep.
What do you do?
Yeah. Which then this wreck also caused a kind of wild outcome for Daniel Ricciardo and Oscar Piastri.
Yeah, he had a tire land on his car.
He literally ducked. You can watch his onboard, and he's like, "Oh, like
those tires are heavy.
You have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
In an F1 car, but you see him go like, oh crap,
help!
Yeah, and it smashed the wing.
Yeah, just damage right off the front.
Right. So, because of a weird rule on fixing cars under a red flag.
Yeah, explain this.
The FIA forces you, if you have done a repair to that extent, like a rear spoiler.
Okay.
Requires you to go a lap down.
Frig.
Yeah, which is stupid.
Very stupid.
But also, I feel like Oscar and Daniel had their own little race a lap down.
Did. And they were, listening to the commentators the whole race, Daniel is a lap down, but they would make little comments like, Daniel is keeping up with people he should be racing with.
He had top 5 lap times.
That is insane.
The whole race.
That is insane.
And what a bummer.
What a bummer. At the end of the race, Daniel had an interview talking about how this rule was so weird.
It's a dumb rule.
Very dumb rule.
And it seems like in the case of what happened to him where he was innocent bystander, he didn't cause the accident.
Right.
There's just a tire careening through the air.
Holy cow, yeah.
Which is not safe at all. And landed on his car.
Not safe.
Not safe. And totally your favorite.
Yeah.
But like the FIA is being like, well, if you hadn't been there, then you wouldn't have to repair your car.
What?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what the rule is basically. Like, you have to repair your car. Well, it must have been your fault.
Must have been your fault.
So you can't fix it while it's under red flag conditions.
It's raining softs.
It's raining Albon tires.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to do? Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So, weird rule.
Yeah, that is a weird rule. There must have been some precedent as to why that happens, but that should almost be, you should be rewarded for being able to fix your car.
Right.
In that quick a time and get back on the track.
Charles is like running back and forth on the hillside. He's like, can we, there's time. I can fix my car.
I just
and
give
they
me
were
time.
they were like, no. And then all the marshals, did you see this picture?
No,
all the marshals posing with his car on the grass. They're like,
they're just looting pieces off of it.
I think I have the picture saved. I have to show it to you.
The steering wheel, ripping off wings.
Yeah, here it is. Just all of them being like, thug life. Here you go.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, that's hilarious.
So this is the result of crashing on the first lap. On the formation lap.
It was a hectic first. Not even first lap.
Yeah, it didn't even get a full. We didn't get a full lap.
There were like
Charles
5 crashes
on the formation
before
lap
the first corner,
and somehow Charles Leclerc, because of timing screens, was 19th and Albon was 20th. Even though Charles did not start the race, Albon didn't make it past the first timing line, and so it technically put him lower on the.
Weird.
Anyways,
that's insane.
So wild. The sprint race was also good. We'll just say the sprint race was brief but fun. Interlagos is one of those races where, like, the passing in the race itself was predictable because there was strategy differences. So somebody would be like slightly fresher tires, and then it would be like DRS plus fresher tires. Like, yeah, of course the overtake's going to get done.
Yeah.
And so even though there was some good passing, a lot of it did feel a little bit like, okay, well, we know that this is inevitable. Like, he's going to get past him.
Yeah.
But this is one of the reasons I like the sprint race.
Yeah.
Is because there isn't a tire advantage.
Okay. Yeah.
All the teams are pretty much running the same stuff.
Yeah.
And some of the teams will gamble on whether or not they're brand new tires, but they were all on the soft tire. And so the reason that I think this is cool and the reason that I like that is because when it comes to a pass, it's not a tire strategy difference plus DRS plus battery charge, whatever.
Okay.
This is a straight fight.
Right. Yeah.
And those passes in the sprint race were so much more earned. Each position was earned.
Okay, yeah.
Where I felt like during the race, I was kind of like, that was coming.
Yeah.
And in the sprint race Saturday event, I felt like, that was awesome. That was a good pass. Yeah.
Interlagos, this Brazil track.
I love it.
It's growing on me.
Yeah.
Where now I kind of know the track and I can predict that there are places where more passing does happen.
For sure.
So drivers are going to be planning on that corner or the corner after.
Totally.
And it's fun to predict that and to see that and follow it.
Totally. I like the DRS zone up the hill, down through the Senna S, and then another DRS zone.
Yeah, it's tricky.
It's really hard to get right.
There were some people in the sprint race that would pass in that first DRS zone, then get passed.
Right.
And then they'd have to switch up the strategy the next time.
Yeah.
It's a fun little track.
It's definitely got some unique characteristics, and it's old school. So to even talk about Charles crashing on the formation lap, one of the reasons when you hear me say old school circuit, old school circuits, predominantly the thing that makes them what they are is high consequence, which means that a small issue, a wall is really close. And,
They're
Circuit
built
of the
for
Americas,
smaller cars.
Yeah.
back in like 1960.
Yeah, and like Circuit of the Americas, it's like Charles Leclerc could have had a hydraulic failure, electronic issue, and gone spinning for 4 years before he hit anything.
Yeah.
But in Brazil,
Yeah.
one little spin like a top, and it's like, oh, tire barrier.
Yeah.
Oh, crap.
You're dead.
I'm out of the race. You're dead.
Well, like you're done. You're done.
Rip.
When that race started on Sunday and they're like 72 laps or whatever.
Right.
I have been so used to sprint races.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my gosh,
That's a lot.
this is a long race.
Are you guys sure you can do this?
I really thought that.
Do you guys have
like,
enough gas?
I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they're used to this. They this is what they want.
Is this a regular race
This
distance?
is so long.
Yeah, it's a big race for
That's
sure.
a long race,
Especially at like a track like that where there are so many high G-force corners and heavy braking zones. That's a heavy race.
Yeah. And speaking of passing, do you want to talk like the most epic battle at the end?
The best battle of the season.
I was losing it.
It was so good.
Yeah.
I was screaming at my TV alone.
Me too.
I was very quiet.
Because I just was rooting so hard for Alonso.
Oh, it was so good.
No, I mean, I really don't have anything against Checo.
No.
But like, holy cow, to see Alonso defending against that Red Bull, and I'm just like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. The Red Bull's going to overtake him.
Yeah.
Because it's faster.
Right.
And
But it took him forever.
for a long time.
Alonso's exit off of that final corner was perfect every time. I was like, how is he doing this? The Red Bull's way
Because
faster.
Alonso is amazing.
He's such a genie too. He
Yeah.
understands of how to place it, how to get the better momentum and be like, I don't care that you have DRS.
Yeah.
I have all my battery.
Oof.
Let's go.
Oof.
And so that front stretch battle, it went on for like 7 laps.
Yeah.
Or more.
And then when Checo finally got the lunge and passed him, I'm like, oh, that was fun.
Yeah, like I'm glad Fernando held him at least
And
that
then,
long.
no, dude.
The captain's back, man.
Juice. It was amazing.
It was unreal.
Yeah.
He even said that he thought it was done.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, Sergio got past me and he was like, oh, well, that was fun.
Yeah.
And then he was like, wait a minute.
Did he see him make a slightly
He drove too
small
deep.
error?
He drove too deep into turn 1.
Turn
And Fernando
one.
was like, wait a minute.
See, this guy is insane.
Yep.
It's insane.
Yeah, because then it's the Senna S and then
And then the next DRS zone.
And so he
And
was
that's
like,
what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
I was hoping for that.
and Fernando knew that he was like, okay, I might not be able to get him in the next DRS zone, but if I can keep it there, if I can stay on him, Sergio's going to know that I'm right here. That's going to trip him up. So he played it beautifully.
Yes.
He knew exactly what he had to do to get it back. And I mean, we know the results.
He passes him in that second DRS zone.
Yeah.
And holds the lead until like a drag race at the very, very end of the race.
And it was
one of the most
close.
exciting finishes of the whole season.
Yeah. Maybe one of the best finishes for P3 ever, but also that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because I know Gasly and Lewis Hamilton did this exact thing a few years ago in Brazil.
Yeah.
Fighting for the last step on the podium. And that was epic.
Yeah.
But this was like,
So close.
because they were jockeying for position so aggressively, and that it meant Aston Martin's first podium in forever.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
A couple of races.
Yeah, it feels like it's been ages.
It's different for Haas.
But
no.
at least for Aston Martin, who's got used to being up there every week.
Where were they? Yeah.
They've disappeared. And so
For them
this
to come
return,
back, it was,
and then to have such an epic return of like, it's just one of the best finishes.
And this
thank you, Fernando.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Checo, because he played such a big role in that being clean and being rad and so fun to watch.
This has brought up something that I have seen a lot of people rumoring or gossiping or throwing shade around Reddits.
Yeah.
Just saying
typical.
Well, here's the thing. Formula One fans have the shortest memory in the world.
They
just
always do.
A bunch of goldfish out there throwing hate on Reddit. They're just like, hey, like Fernando is getting old. Can this guy retire already? It's like he has 6 podiums this year.
Yeah.
Something like that. 8 podiums this year. Do you not remember what was happening
Yeah.
Like, this guy is amazing.
And they're like, just give up already.
Give up already.
Yeah.
What are you, 40?
Yeah, like, ew.
This guy is crushing it.
They're like,
And then,
it's just a bunch of Charles Leclerc fans being like, where's the next, like, French boy? Give me another,
exactly.
like,
It's like,
Monegasque.
well, that's the thing. It's like, well, who else do you want in that seat?
Yeah.
Charles Leclerc is the common denominator in his unluckiness. And Pierre Gasly's not doing anything.
No, and the French team, yeah, exactly.
You have this Fernando Alonso who is hitting every single corner perfectly.
Look, I know that everyone thinks that Taylor Swift is with Travis Kelce. She's not. She's with Fernando. It's a secret love affair.
It's a secret.
And Fernando's this handsome silver fox at this point.
Yeah.
Who knows how to freaking place the car.
Yes.
He's a wizard at racecraft.
Yes.
And also can just outdrive whatever he's put in.
Yes. He outdrove the fastest car on the grid.
In a drag race
Yeah.
to the checkered. And
If you
that
think
was amazing.
do you think that guy needs to retire? There's something wrong with you.
And even just to say, like, I mean, look, Lance finished 5th, which was a great result for Lance.
Great for Lance. He had a good weekend.
Yeah, and was a killer run for Aston Martin to also get 5th.
Mm-hmm.
But Fernando was fighting for the podium
Yeah.
with the fastest car
Yeah.
and managed it.
Yeah.
It's just like the contrast between teammates. It shows that Fernando is nowhere near needing to retire.
No. Because
And-
he's beating all these younger guys.
Yeah, it is just as awesome
spanking
as he's
them.
ever been.
There's
Yeah.
just a massive epidemic of memory loss in Formula One fans.
It's amazing how I mean, we've seen it with Daniel Ricciardo.
Yeah.
We've seen it with Haas,
Yeah.
where people are like, burn down the factory. What are you doing?
Yeah.
How come you guys aren't getting any points?
Yeah.
It's like, it was a half a second from first to last in
Yeah,
qualifying.
Yeah.
What do you mean we're not getting points? It's the most competitive the sport's ever been.
Or just even we've seen it a few years ago when Mercedes came out in this new like car era.
Oh, yeah.
And Red Bull was just like blitzing them
Right.
every single race. They're like, wow, Mercedes was never this dominant. I was like, were you like asleep during the last 8 years?
Did you know that you used to lead by 60 seconds after 2 laps?
Yeah.
It was ridiculous.
just remember a little bit.
Yeah, just
It's like from race to race,
yeah.
from like season to season, and from like team to team. It's just people are like,
I almost wonder.
Daniel Ricciardo he like finished last. It was like he had a crash at the first of the race.
Yeah, like
that wasn't a tire landed on his head.
yeah, F1 fans are officially they have 10-second Tom from 50 First Dates.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Tom.
They keep waking up. What is going on, man?
Fernando Alonso, great race. Hey, I'm Tom. Come on, keep it together.
Yeah. All in all, an amazing Brazilian Grand Prix.
Well, and I feel like we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we didn't talk about Mercedes.
Yeah. All in all, we need to land with the star of this podcast, George Russell.
Mr. Russell. I have in front of me the transcript
Oh, yay!
of George Russell's
Please,
best moments.
Mike, please.
From the Grand Prix.
Yes.
And so
George Russell, teammates with Lewis,
so he starts with this.
the hall monitor of Formula One.
George's first radio. Let's work together. I want to tack at these early laps. It's
Okay.
No response.
Calling for teamwork. Calling for teamwork.
No response, though. Mercedes is like, yeah, we talked about this. Once again, George.
Yeah.
We had a pre-race meeting. Seems like you're forgetting things.
Yeah.
But, okay, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah. Let him keep racing.
And then, then his next radio. He's behind Lewis,
Uh-huh.
and
Yeah.
Lewis is babying the tires,
Yep.
being strategic,
Yep.
because that's what Lewis does.
Uh-huh.
Comes over the radio. I'm having to push too hard in turn 11 and 12. Either I need to overtake or he needs to manage more through there.
Yeah.
Once again, no response.
Toto's just like,
Just like,
just let him go.
like, does he know? Does he know that the sprint race, like, we saw this. It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
Just shut up, George. Shut up.
They're just okay.
Then,
Then what?
this is the first one that Mercedes responds on. And George comes over the radio and says, are we working together here, or are we just doing our own race?
That was my favorite. That was my favorite.
And his engineer comes over the radio and he says, we're still discussing.
They're like, we gotta shut him up.
Just try to tell him, like, act like we're doing something back here. We can't do anything. But just make him think like we're making progress.
Well, from my point of view, yeah, Lewis is babying tires,
right?
But Lewis was also keeping him within DRS. So George Russell is getting a little tow.
He's doing the Carlos Sainz in Singapore thing.
So everything's going to George's plan.
Right.
But also George is defending against Perez, who has the fastest car on the grid.
Right.
Mercedes cannot defend forever against this.
No.
So eventually he's going to get by you.
Inevitably, this is happening.
And in that moment, Perez passes George. They defend a little bit. They lose a little speed.
Right.
So Lewis takes ahead more,
and he's
obviously.
like, now it's every man for himself.
Yeah, and George is instantly like, what is Lewis leading me here to die?
No, it's everyone for himself.
That was for himself. Yeah. I was like, dude,
it's just like,
you defended for him. You lost speed. Also, this Red Bull's going to get by you anyway.
Yeah, so at least
just calm down.
Give me 3 laps. Of an advantage before he catches me, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it just immediately complained. Oh, okay. Lewis is just going to drive into the sunset?
What is this? Mercedes Lewis Petronas team? What is the tile sponsor? Hamilton?
Yeah, I thought Russell was on the side of the car.
Are we going to put XNDA on the rear wing now?
Yeah. Is this going to be
Toto? Get Toto on the line. Well, when you're the hall monitor of Formula One, you do get more perks.
Yeah,
he's entitled.
He knows a lot of the rules.
He
knows them well. And has rules of engagement.
Yeah. What was next? What was the next message?
The next one. This is the best one of all.
Yeah.
This is the last message.
Mm-hmm.
Retire the car.
I give up.
That is just like, that's enough. You just bring George
everyone's
in.
going to be a cheater. I don't even want to play anymore.
I'm just surprised.
I'm going to take my basketball and I'm going to go home.
I'm just surprised that there wasn't a response from George being like, well, it's Lewis? Is Lewis going to retire? Is it both of us or just me? What's happening?
Oh, he was fun. He was having a fun time.
It's as if he's not heard crap from every race. Because here's the thing. The drivers are not completely unaware of Formula Dank.
Yeah.
These guys know.
They get whispers in the wind.
Yeah, they know they get
what we're saying.
Roasted.
Yeah.
by memes and by fans alike.
I have faith that some of the memes that we have made have seen it to made it to Chucky Leclerc's eyes.
We know that Chucky Leclerc has seen himself in NASCAR form, which is Max's meme.
Copyrighted that.
Yeah,
we're the first.
Trademarked. The Chucky Leclerc NASCAR meme was Max. So we know that deep down,
these people
they see these things.
Mm-hmm.
So with that said,
it's
amazing to me that George continues to be the worst over the radio.
Yeah.
It's like, listen, man,
we
all know how old you are.
Yeah.
You have one of these.
Yeah.
You have a smartphone. People are making fun of you when you come over the radio and you say dumb things, or either you act like a tool, or if you're complaining way worse than Lewis has.
Yeah, it's this sense of entitlement that's coming through now,
right?
And that's why we make fun of him. We're not haters because he's not winning enough to we're hating on George Russell. It's like we're making fun of this nerd.
No, he's a dork.
Yeah, he's a dork,
and
this rich entitled dork.
Yeah, but Bono, my tires are gone. Like Lewis has got some flair. On Formula Dank for having a very clear complaint that he's made over the years.
Iconic complaints.
Right. But even then, that's this tiny sentence. Every time George complains, it's like he has a radio talk show.
Yeah.
He's got a podcast with his engineer. Are we working together? Or what's happening here?
Instantly.
And it's like, what could you...
I guess we're just doing our own thing now.
Yeah, it's like,
okay.
Is there a shorter way to say that, George?
Yeah.
Is Lewis going to help? Question mark?
Yeah.
It's sufficed.
It's just,
That would do the same trick.
He's insane.
Yeah.
I sometimes I give leeway to the drivers. I'm like, I know they're racing. It's stressful.
I road rage on the highway.
Yeah. And there are on like a razor's edge of like spinning off into a wall or whatever.
Right.
But at the same time, it's like, dude, Perez is going to get by you.
Yeah.
Your car is not competitive compared to this Red Bull.
Not even
so
close.
Just let him pass you and don't make a big deal of it.
And Toto said that the car didn't deserve a win.
Yeah.
He was like, this car doesn't deserve to win.
Yeah.
Next car, please.
Yeah.
And Lewis and George.
Lewis and Toto.
Yeah.
They're like together. They're on it.
Yeah.
And
it was interesting though because Toto came over the radio and he was like, sorry that you guys had to drive this. And Lewis, I know it's so bad. It doesn't deserve to win or whatever. And Lewis came over the radio and he's like, yeah, let's talk later.
Yeah.
Thank you everyone for working so hard on this car. Because I think that like Lewis is a little bit like, yeah, I agree with you, but like, let's protect the radio a little.
Yeah.
Because like,
can we keep this radio silence? Like,
yeah,
let's like admit our faults in private.
Let's talk about this later.
Because we have this winning mindset. We always need to be perfect.
Yeah.
Honestly, Lewis has it in his head.
Totally.
Yeah.
But in a way, it's also like, but let's not make the team hate us because we're mocking them over the radio on TV.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's all praise for the factory.
Yeah. It's like, thanks for the men and women working hard back at the factory.
Now you're getting caught back talking.
The only way that he can politicize the entire team to want to support him is if he doesn't do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So anyways,
and on the other hand, you just have George Russell. Father will hear about this. Father, can you get my dad on the phone? Father, can you patch my father down to Lewis?
Oh my gosh.
We're not working as a team.
How has he
Father
not
would be mad.
said that yet?
It's the next thing.
It is.
It's the next thing.
It's going to happen.
It seems like I of course would anticipated like a more maturity going into Mercedes.
Right.
But it seems like he's getting more immature.
He's digressed.
He's getting,
At Williams, it seemed like I was like, oh wow. He's like, he understands his role.
Yeah.
He knows that he's not going to win.
Yeah.
It just seemed like he was a different dude.
Was it that year at Mercedes where Lewis was taking the hit?
Right.
Lewis was purposely like taking a hit,
trying
pretty much
to develop
every
the
race
car,
to develop the race, getting last, just like,
right.
You're taking the hit this year, Lewis. And George Russell just got the biggest head in the world, being like, I am continually beating the 7-time world champion.
the greatest driver that has ever lived.
Because I am
clearly
in the same machinery, I am beating Lewis Hamilton.
Right.
And it's like, man, did that just screw him up?
Big time.
And Toto's like, hey, we didn't really tell you straight up, but you are Lewis's B word.
Yeah. You are his pet. You are his tiny pet.
This is not your team.
Yeah.
Step in line.
Well, and I mean,
he's interesting.
I feel like we all saw it for the first time.
Yeah.
When he punched Valtteri Bottas in Imola.
Oh, he's so entitled. Yeah.
That was the first time that any of us had seen anything like that. We're like,
he was in a Williams.
Yeah.
We're like, punched the Mercedes driver.
Yeah, because he went to pass Bottas on the grass, lost control and crashed into Bottas. So it wasn't even
this is always just his character.
Right. But we didn't see it because it was in the back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, who cares?
Well, you're mad at Nikita Mazepin?
Yeah.
I mean, he's in the wall.
Yeah.
You can go talk to him if you want.
Yeah.
But at this stage, we're starting to see a little bit of those true colors. It is brutal.
Yeah.
It's not a good look.
He's going to continually be hard to root for.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If he's not already.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah. Okay, shifting gears.
Yeah.
We have some listener questions. And if you are listening right now, watching us on YouTube, listening on Spotify, feel free to write in any questions. You can write into us on Instagram. We are at Instagram at fastones.us. You can email us at fastones.us@gmail.com. Lots of ways to get in contact with us. Just comment on our posts.
Yeah.
Yeah, we usually keep up to date really, really well on those. So, and it's mostly me on Instagram. So
yeah, you'll get Max. Yeah.
If you're answering questions, you're talking with me 98% of the time.
I have this thing never stops.
Yeah.
And so it's usually Max.
Yeah. And then, I mean, we have a lot of fun interactions with listeners on social media.
Yeah.
I'll give a shout out to one guy he doesn't ask a lot of questions, but he is sending me good content. His name's Kyle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And he sends in tons of stuff, and it's really fun to get his messages and things. So, yeah. Keep sending them in.
We always appreciate it. Thank you guys for interacting with us. And occasionally I do check, so I know who you are. Thank you.
Okay. So our questions come in this week. One is from Joe.
Okay.
She's a listener of the podcast.
Okay.
And she asked, if you could get in a Formula One car or a race car
Okay.
and drive around any circuit, which one would you drive around?
Okay.
That's the question.
Okay. I already know
So-
my answer.
Are you going to say what?
Laguna Seca.
Oh, I did not know that. Why? Why Laguna Seca? It's
So
in California.
because I know it so well
Oh, okay.
that I feel like I would confidently be able to race around that without crashing.
You could get like a good lap in.
Yeah. It's
Have
what
you
I-
driven around it before?
I have not. No,
Oh.
that is a racetrack I have not been around. Just in sim racing.
Okay, yeah.
So I know my braking points and I know where it's off cambered and
Mhm.
weird, and also the corkscrew just seems really fun.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. Road
Cool.
Atlanta's on that list. I mean, you know me.
Oh, wow.
I could go on for days.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, your first choices are American tracks.
Obviously, I would
I-
love to run Monaco,
Okay, Monaco's a good choice.
especially in not an F1 car.
Yeah.
Put me in a sports car. I would love that.
I would say Monaco. I didn't think about that one. I was thinking Spa
Spa would be incredible.
in Belgium.
Yep.
Just because it seems like this question would also give you a free trip to Belgium
Yeah,
to go race on that track.
Yeah, for sure.
And that just seems like a fun place to go on vacation.
Yeah, for sure.
Beautiful, fun track.
Right.
Honestly, for me, any track that I drive around is going to be brand new and it's going to suck. So, and I'm not going to do very well.
Right.
But that's where I would go. Seems
Yeah.
pretty.
I think those are really good
I
choices.
wouldn't do American because I could just. I've already been to America.
Yeah, I would love Interlagos. I honestly would. Brazil would be on that list for me.
Okay, yeah.
Because it is one of my top 3 for sure of the season. I think the tracks, Catalunya in Spain,
Oh, okay.
I also know super well.
Okay.
That's
Nice.
another one that I like to, if I'm trying out something new.
Fun.
That's a track I like to go out
Yeah.
on and learn what's right and what's wrong with the car.
Yeah.
In a sim game.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, I like
That's
that list
great.
could be huge, but that's a
Yeah.
great question.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
There's a part 2 question to that.
Okay, cool.
And she goes on to ask if a Formula One team, for
Mhm.
whatever reason, needed you to step in
Oof.
and drive the car for the race.
Okay.
Let's say Charles crashes the formation lap and they need a new
Breaks
driver.
his hand.
Don't know what happens.
Yeah.
They need you.
Yeah.
Would you drive the Formula One car in the race?
Yeah. I mean, the answer is always yes.
I would, yeah, it's always.
The answer is
I will-
always yes.
100% yes. I will be doing it at 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, I would be 3 laps down, and I would not be sad about it.
No, because you were driving in a Formula One race in
For
a Formula
sure.
One car. Yeah.
Yeah.
I will stall it 20 times.
Okay, so now I'm going to add a third layer to that.
Okay.
So, given this scenario
Mm-hmm.
of track, and you're the reserve driver,
Uh-huh.
and you get the nod to race,
Yeah.
what track are you like? That's the one you want to be on. So, from the calendar that you know, so F1 calendar.
Yeah. I mean, I said Spa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know that track very well. I just know it's pretty.
Yeah.
And that'd be a fun vacation. But if this is a real scenario where they're like, hey,
Go out there and race.
Kevin Magnussen is dead. Piotr Fittipaldi is dead.
Is also
Everyone died in the plane on the way over. If Mike and they've contacted Fast Ones,
Yes.
being like, you are Haas fans.
You guys are clear fans.
We need you two to drive this car. I'd pick Monza
Yeah, that would be so rad. I actually
Yeah.
think that's a great pick.
because it doesn't seem like a complicated track.
Right.
There's not a lot of big turns.
Right. Yeah.
There's not a lot of loop-de-loops.
Yeah.
I feel like I know the shape of that pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah.
That would be a really cool one for sure.
Uh-huh.
Man, I feel like I would probably go with something like Spain,
Mm-hmm.
the Catalunya race, just because I do know it so well
Yeah.
that I would feel really confident.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, given the opportunity,
Yeah.
Spa, what is Spa or Monaco? I'd be
Mhm.
like, this is my chance.
Yeah, to drive around
But
one
I
of
know
those
that
tracks.
I'd crash with the first try at
but,
Monaco.
but you would have then set some Formula One stats in Formula One history.
right.
Like you are now
And I'd
etched in all of the other names
And
of
I'd be
Formula
no
One drivers.
worse than Charles Leclerc in Monaco.
Right. You'd be up there with Nikita Mazepin.
Hey, I'll take it. I'll take
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'll take it all day.
Before we close out,
Yes.
let's give a shout out to Haas.
Yes.
taking the NASCAR championship.
Oh, yeah. They won the Xfinity Series championship.
Yeah, so Haas is winners.
Killing it.
Yeah.
And it was a cool story. Cole Custer, who's the driver in the Xfinity Series.
Cold custard.
I have called him that. I definitely have called him that.
Uh-huh.
He was a NASCAR Cup Series driver.
Mm-hmm.
Struggled a little bit. Didn't seem like he was figuring it out.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of Haas letting him go and saying, you suck, goodbye, they'd said, you know what, why don't we put you back in the lower tier series, the Xfinity Series,
Okay.
and just see how you do.
Yeah.
And he won the championship.
Oh, wow.
And so really cool. I feel
So
like
Haas won like a tier 2 championship.
yeah, the next tier down.
Cool.
And what's cool about that in my mind is that, again, they didn't give up on him.
Yeah.
And then he proved that he deserved to be there.
Right. Yeah.
And so that was huge. In addition to that news, Ryan Blaney won the Cup Series championship this weekend,
That's the big one.
which is the top tier.
Yeah.
And epic finish. Great battle for the championship.
Mm-hmm.
As we talked about in the past, it boils down to 4 people,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's one race, and between those 4, they pick whoever is the highest placer
Wins the thing.
wins the championship.
Yeah.
And Ryan Blaney pulled it off after qualifying, I think, lowest out of the 4. And so he was like, crap. And he overcame the odds.
Nice.
And
Fun.
And ended up taking the championship, which was a really cool, great race. It was very fun to watch.
And then last little bit of news, Kevin Harvick.
Oh, yeah. Kevin Harvick retired. This was
And
his
he's a
final race.
Big name in NASCAR.
And the reason that that's a big deal is because he's the one that replaced Earnhardt Sr.
Mm-hmm.
And now that entire era of drivers, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon,
And what's the team that he was driving for?
Stuart Haas.
So it's another Haas
Yep.
news. I thought so. I didn't want to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, so Kevin Harvick has moved on. He'll be in the announcer booth next year for Fox
Okay.
on NASCAR.
Cool.
Which I think he'll bring an awesome perspective.
Fun.
So, but big changes and a new driver coming in for the number 4 next year at Stuart Haas. And so we'll see how that goes.
Fun.
It's going to be cool.
Very cool stuff. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Thank you for talking.
Yeah. Follow us, subscribe to us, please rate us, watch us on YouTube.
Yeah, check it out.
And yeah, we have an amazing looking studio that keeps getting better, but
Every
also
week.
fun content coming out. So
Totally.
we hope you guys are enjoying it. Share us with your friends, send us in fun questions, and we'll talk to you later.
I'm going to see you next week.
Okay. Bye.
One small
Podcast.
for man, one giant leap.
And on the other hand, you just have George Russell. Father will hear about this. Father, can you get my dad on the phone? Can you patch my father down to Lewis?